Android 4.2 could be out as soon as October 29th, Samsung announces their latest Chromebook, and Galaxy S3 owners will soon be able to upgrade their handsets to Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. All that and more coming up in this episode of Freshly Brewed. But guys, before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig from your mobile cup of Joe. What's going on? I am your host, Joe Mari, and as you probably should be able to tell, we have a new co-host with us today. His name is Zach Peak.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach.
So Zach and I go to the same school together, and he's going to help me co-host this episode of Freshly Brewed. And if you guys want to see him in future episodes, leave a comment below at the end of the video, and let us know if you want to see him in future episodes of Freshly Brewed. But in our first story of the day, we are going to be talking about Huawei. So Huawei recently announced their latest Windows 8 phone, the Huawei Ascend W1. The Ascend W1 will have a 1.2 GHz dual-core processor with 512 megs of RAM, with a 5-megapixel LED camera with flash on the back, with a 4-inch WVGA quality display. So the Huawei Ascend W1 is a pretty low to mid-range spec smartphone, but it will have Windows 8 on it, and will be one of the first phones to have Windows 8 on it out of the box, and it will start selling for around $100 price range with a 2-year contract. So it's going to be a pretty budget phone. So if you're on a budget and don't mind getting to a 2-year contract, look for the Huawei Ascend W1, but there are no talks yet about, though, what carriers it will be on. So are you excited for Windows Phone 8?
Yeah, Windows 8 is, it's been talked for about a year or so, and, I think the people are finally ready to see what it can do. You're going to see, obviously everyone's going to see bugs every now and then, but, still kind of like a beta. We'll just have to see what it turns out.
Yeah, so Huawei Ascend W1 Windows 8 phone, looking like it's going to be a really budget Windows Phone 8 phone, so look forward to that one if you're on a budget and want to get your hands on Windows Phone 8. And our next story of the day is about actually Samsung. It's more specifically the Samsung Galaxy S3. So the Galaxy S3 is a freaking awesome phone. The global version of it has like a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor. Even though the carrier in the US version has like a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core, it's still a god of a phone. It's like 2 gigs of RAM. It's a beast of an Android phone. It does run 4.0 though, Ice Cream Sandwich, which unfortunately is not the latest version of Android. 4.1 Jelly Bean is out now, and if you have got a Galaxy S3, you're probably envying the update of Android on your friends' daily driver phones. Fortunately for you though, Samsung has said that in the coming months, their Galaxy S3 owners should be able to download the Android 4.1 Jelly Bean update to their Galaxy S3 via Samsung Key software, which is you can download to your computer through Samsung's website, which is used for software updates. Now, if you have your Samsung Galaxy S3 on a carrier, carriers have said that they will be releasing the 4.1 update over a period of time, hopefully within the coming months, carriers are saying, along with Samsung, because the carriers do have to take the 4.1 updates through testing. So you can look forward to that, as Samsung said, within the coming months. So we don't know if that means this month, but hopefully soon. So yeah, you don't have a Galaxy S3 though, but have you got a chance to play around with 4.1 yet?
Oh, I've definitely played with 4.1. I've seen the Nexus 7. The thing is beautiful with think about it, a 1.5 quad core. Am I correct?
1.3, 1.7, 1.5 quad core, whatever. Tegra 3 processors, so.
It's beautiful, 4.1 runs so smoothly, it makes everything easier. Personally, I'm an iPhone guy. I'll be getting an iPhone soon,
So still good, you gotta get your foot in both camps.
Right, definitely. I've had 2 Android phones. One didn't turn out so well, the other one kind of crashed on me, but got back up and it was still running. I gotta applaud HTC for that, because they make some top-line phones.
Yeah, well, with 4.1 though, looks like Android could be catching up to iOS soon, especially with iOS 6 kind of not being as great as people were expecting it to be.
Yeah, with Apple Maps, man. The bugs, man, they need to be worked out. I love what they've done with iOS 6, but the problem with that is that they took the podcast out of the music app and put it into its own separate app called Podcast. Now, I own an iPod Touch, and the podcast app, after I updated to iOS 6, it runs so bad. It crashes like no one's dreaming. If you know me, I love to watch The Nerdist. Chris Hardwick.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah.
And I can't watch it because it keeps crashing, and it's a shame. It's a true shame. But Galaxy S3 4.1, everyone's gonna be excited about it. So
Yeah, so like I said, no official date when the Galaxy S3 will get Android 4.1, but definitely download Samsung Keys to your computer and see if you can get the update soon. So, speaking of Samsung, once again, Samsung actually announced their latest Chromebook. So, you may not remember Chromebooks. Google released a couple last year, 2011, but they did really, really crappy. They were really underpowered, way overpriced, and no one wanted the freaking things. They were just terrible. But Samsung, though, they did announce their latest one, just called the Samsung Chromebook, and for $249, you will get a laptop with an 11.6-inch screen, which is pretty small. It's a little bit larger than current 10-inch tablets, but still enough screen real estate for a $249 device. You'll also get 2 gigabytes of RAM, a ARM-based Exynos 5 dual-core processor, which will be good for checking emails and surfing the web and watching some light YouTube videos. And the Samsung Chromebook will come in both Wi-Fi only and 3G and Wi-Fi models. The Wi-Fi model starting at $249, with the 3G and Wi-Fi model starting at $329. So with a 3G service with a $329 model, you'll get up to 100 megabytes of data per month, and you'll get free service for 2 years courtesy of Verizon. So I personally think that this is pretty great for people that just aren't on a budget and they want to get a quick little laptop. You have to keep in mind, though, that this is running Google's Chrome OS operating system for laptops. This is not running Windows or Apple's operating system for their computers. So it's going to be a lower, underpowered operating system. You can't download iTunes or stuff like that because it's locked into Google's ecosystem. But if you just want to watch some YouTube videos, like I said, surf the web, check some emails, this should be a pretty cool device. So what do you think about this? Do you think you'd get one if you had the money, or do you not really see a use for it?
Chromebooks. I mean, I personally have a really nice laptop. I mean, I got an Alienware, really nice laptop, but I'm a gamer. That's what I have it for. A Chromebook for $250, the Wi-Fi model. Personally, I'm not a guy who uses 3G everywhere, but, Wi-Fi only. I'd look into it, definitely. It seems like a great device. Samsung finally released their Series 9 not too long ago.
Those are pretty nice, too.
Thinner than a MacBook Air, but, for $100 more, they kind of shot they just kind of shot it. The trackpad was messed up, but hopefully Samsung will do this right with their Chromebook. And, Chrome's OS hold you back from specific limitations, say if you want to use iTunes, but,
Yeah, Google Play Music, though. To do that, it's a good alternative. Granted, you're not going to get as much music as on iTunes, because Google's music player, the Google Play Music, has not been out for nearly as long as iTunes have, so it's still got some catching up to do, but it's still not a bad music player if you just have a few songs you want to listen to. It's got most of the very most popular songs out there right now, so it's not going to be a huge limitation. If you're tied into Apple's ecosystem, though, I can't really see a smart way. I can't really see a way to justify this purchase. But if you're tied into Google's ecosystem, and you have a lot of Android devices, if you have an Android tablet and Android phone, it'd be nice, though, to sync all your content pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a 3-in-1. Like, for example, I was an Android phone user, you were an Android phone user. A Chromebook would have been perfect for us. He has a Nexus 7. I personally don't have a tablet right now,
But it would be nice, though, to have that, be able to sync that fast.
Yes, it would. Now, if you have Apple products, a MacBook would be the way to go. If you have Windows products, Xboxes or PS3s, if you're a Sony person or all that, a Windows computer is the way to go.
But based on the ecosystem you're in.
Yeah, but the Chromebook will do something right. I mean, for 100 megabytes, seems a little low, especially if you're going to do a lot of YouTube browsing. You'll run through that 100 megabytes like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So just be warned, but Verizon's got great CDMA signal, so just, It's your choice, it's your choice.
And also one thing, too, we'd like to point out with this new Chromebook, Google has enabled the Google Play Store to be able to purchase apps for this Chromebook, so you'll be able to get all of his apps on there, which is pretty cool for having that full Google Play Store option on there to download apps and everything. So it's going to be a lighter operating system than Windows is. It's not going to be nearly as complex or as beefy. It's going to be kind of like a light version of Windows, if you want to call it that. So not as powerful, but just for some simple web browsing, it's going to be pretty perfect for $250.
Definitely. I do simple internet browsing. I got Facebook, Twitter, do all that. And I think a Play Store, I loved it on my Android. It was nice to have all the latest apps in one fatal thing, Play Store on a laptop, Bad Piggies on your Chromebook, I'm game.
So Samsung's Chromebook, $249, sounds like a pretty good deal for some light web browsing. So Google is going to have hosting an Android-focused event on October 29th. So this is actually pretty huge. So when we say Android-focused, it means this is just basically an Android event. Google sent out invitations to big companies and journalism sites and everything. And at this event, we expect, even though 4.1 Jelly Bean was just released back in June, we expect to see Android 4.2 announced at this event. So 4.2 should bring along one of the biggest features is Project Roadrunner. So like Project Butter improved the smoothness and took the lagginess out of the Android operating system, Project Roadrunner is promising to take out that or improve the battery life on Android systems. Because as you can tell, if you've ever had an Android device, you know the battery is not nearly as great as iOS devices. The battery just seems to drain faster. It's just a fault that Android has had since day one. But Project Roadrunner is set to fix this. But another thing that with 4.2 that we should see is this new thing that Google is calling Customization Center, which is aiming to have you have the ability to customize your Android experience even more. Android is already one of the most customizable mobile operating systems out there, probably the most customizable out there with widgets and custom wallpapers and folders and everything. But with Customization Center, Google wants you to be able to customize your system even more, and they also want to be able to update Google Now with this 4.2 operating system. So do you think these are good enough improvements? Do you think that's too soon for 4.2 to already be talked about?
Well, 4.1, was announced not too long ago, maybe over the summer. Was released maybe 2 weeks after its announcement. Only went to the Nexus tablet, every Nexus phone, and perhaps the Motorola Zoom. And think about it, about 4 months later, and they're already announcing the next update. I mean, you're taking a pretty big step here, Google. I mean, it's nice to see that there's a new operating system. Project Roadrunner's definitely going to help out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
My Android devices only had maybe 4 to 5 hours of battery life, and all I did was text and talk. I barely used the internet on it at all, so it's looking like a nice improvement. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, especially with me since I do have the Nexus 7. When Google now announces a new update, I just say hell yeah, I cannot wait because Nexus devices are guaranteed to get the latest updates to the Android platform since Nexus is a brand by Google. But I think I can kind of see how other Android users, ones that have Samsung Android devices or Sony devices, HTC devices, Motorola devices, whatever, you name it, if you have a device that runs Android that's manufactured by someone other than Google, if there's a new update to the Android platform, the manufacturer has to take it and test it, and especially if you have a smartphone through a carrier, the carrier has to test the update too, because there's actually some devices that still have 2.3 Gingerbread as their version of Android. Not every phone has even been upgraded to 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich yet, which is actually pretty sad, and especially for those people when they hear about 4.2 already being talked about. So I can kind of see their pain from that,
Yeah, it's true. I had an HTC Wildfire S. It ran 2.3 before Ice Cream Sandwich was even out. Ice Cream Sandwich came out, no update. Jelly Bean came out, no update. Same with my Samsung Intercept. It ran 2.2. And, 2.3 came out, it didn't get an update. It made no sense at all. It's like Motorola taking one of the 3 most popular phones and saying no update. They're stuck with 2.3.
So that's not good at all. So, it's good for some people, but other people I do feel sympathy for you and I do pity you because it is really disappointing to have a phone that runs 2.3 or even 4.0, then to see someone else like maybe one of your friends that's got 4.1 or 4.2, you can kind of envy them a lot. And even though Google, I do applaud them for trying to update the Android platform so often, it kind of bites them in the butt though sometimes when you look at the carrier testing and manufacturer testing. But we will have to see. So keep in mind though that these are rumors. None of this has been confirmed. But keep your eyes out though on October 29th when Google does have this event. But this is guaranteed pretty much that they're going to announce this. It's everywhere you look. It seems like everyone thinks that 4.2 will be announced. But also at this event we do expect to see some new Nexus phones because the Galaxy Nexus came out last year, and it was the first Nexus phone to run 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich, and it was a really great phone. But when you compare it to other phones that have come out in the past months, you can see that the dual-core processor, even though it is very fast, it's not up to the highest ranking as today's smartphones. When the Galaxy Nexus first came out, dual-core processors on a phone was ridiculously good. But now you see the Samsung Galaxy S3, or Samsung Galaxy Note 2, or even LG's Optimus G, they've got quad-core processors, which just completely blows dual-core processors out of the way. But we do expect LG to be the manufacturer of the Nexus phone this time around. Samsung has made every Nexus phone to date, but we do expect LG to manufacture this next one. There were some rumors that Sony was going to be the manufacturer of the next Nexus device, but the screenshots that we saw looked really fake. There was no Google search bar at the top of the screen from leaked images, and it just looked really, really fake, like someone had photoshopped a Sony phone. So we really expect LG to be the manufacturer of this device. And at this Google event, we could also potentially see a 32GB Nexus 7. I had not heard about this until I went onto some technology journalism websites, but apparently this is something that everyone expects Google to release, a 32GB model of their Nexus 7, because the highest model right now for memory is 16GB of memory. So there's going to be a lot of cool Android news coming up on October 29th. So what would you say that you're most excited for?
Personally, the 32GB Nexus 7. I mean, great tablet. It's beautiful. It's like breathtaking when you see it. I played with it at a Best Buy. I loved it. I didn't want to leave, but forcefully my mom made me to. So a lot of great Nexus ideas. LG taking over for the Nexus phone. I mean, LG with their Optimus G, and it was an amazing phone. I mean, that thing was fast. It had it all. For a 5-inch phablet, it was beautiful. So the fact that they're taking over the Nexus line, I can't wait.
I'm game for it, but if you may remember though, if you watch Mobile Cover Joe regularly, in a past episode of Freshly Brewed, we had talked about a potential price drop of the Nexus 7 to come down to $99. So we expect this to come sometime during the holiday season, but I would not be surprised if we saw Google announce some price drop for the holiday season for the Nexus 7 at this event as well. So October 29th, keep that on your calendars, and have to wait and see what happens to announce there.
Hey, agreed. And here's the thing about that $99. It might only go to maybe the 8GB, and if it goes to the 8, then you're going to see price drops in the 16, and then even the 32 won't even be expensive. Think about it. Right now, it's about $200 for an 8GB model, $250 for the 16. So you're going to see a price drop of $100 for an 8, $150 for a 16, and you could probably see $200 for the 32GB during your holiday season. So if you're not one of those jerk parents, you might want to go pick one up for your kid.
Yeah, this is especially going to help Google with competitors like Amazon's Kindle Fire HD and Barnes & Noble's Nook HD tablets, which are retailing for $199 for like 16 or 8GB of memory. So this would really help Google get an upper hand in the holiday shopping season for 7-inch tablets. So you actually had a story that you wanted to share with us today too, didn't you, Zach?
Yes, actually I have. If you are a Verizon user, your privacy may not be as secure as you think. Verizon has legally found a way to tap into your privacy. Now, yes, these are confirmed, but I have no true idea on how they're doing this. People say they found ways through their contracts. People have been saying like they're tapping into phone lines. They're checking data usage and everything. Legally, they can only check that stuff if it's in case of emergency. But now if your privacy's tapped, what's the point of having a phone if if your privacy isn't around anymore? Think about it. They can take your Facebook stuff, your Twitter stuff, your email will be at risk. It's not good. Verizon's president and CEO said, and I quote, "This is completely illegal. No one can do anything about it."
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, you actually brought this story up to me. I had not heard about this at all until you told me about this. This is crazy, and I was surprised that Verizon was doing this. They're like one of the hugest cell phone carriers right now.
Especially with their Share Everything plan. I mean, it's going great for them. They've seen a 12% increase in their customer sales.
And they got like some of the most, I think they have like either them or AT&T has the most 4G LTE cities and spots in the US. So I mean, they're a huge company. They're like one of the leaders in 4G LTE service. So this is huge for a company like Verizon to say that they're doing this illegal stuff, or what they consider legal, to look into your system and email and everything like that. It's just total BS, and it really irritates me a lot to see how these huge companies like get overpowered like this and use power they have just to use it.
Yeah, like my mom wanted to switch to Verizon. I was into it until I heard about this. I told her, no. It's bad. I don't want any of my privacy looked at. It's my stuff. You legally shouldn't be able to do this at all. It's complete BS. I mean, I'm going to Sprint now, and they got fair service. It's nice. I'm getting an iPhone. But just the fact that they're doing that, I mean, would you really want your stuff to be looked at?
Exactly. Well, guys, that's actually going to be our question of the week. Comment below, let us know what you think of Verizon tapping into your systems and looking at all your personal data. Do you think this is absolutely ridiculous like Zach and I do? Or do you think that there is some truth to it and that they do have the right to do this? Comment below, let us know, answer the question of the week, because I would really like to see some of your guys' input on this issue. But that is all the time we have for this episode of Freshly Brewed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button if you liked it. It takes 1 second to do so, really helps support the show. And if you want to show your support towards the show even more, go ahead, hit the subscribe button right there. And if you want to see Zach come back for future episodes to co-host with me, drop a comment down below and like the video too, because it was fun co-hosting with you.
Agreed, it was. You know, we hang out at school all the time, and I figured this would be nice.
And so if you want to see more of Zach, let us know. And you make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you want to stay on top of the latest mobile technology news outside of the videos, head on over to www.mobilecupofjoe.com for your latest mobile tech news. Guys, I've been your host, Joe Maring.
I'm Zach P.
And have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.